afternoon, selamat siang, selamat datang. Mari kita lanjutkan bermain The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles yang nomor 2 yang results. Ya, seperti biasa Layla memang sudah selesai bermain yang adventures, jadi makanya Layla stream yang resolve-nya aja. Ya, nggak tahu hari ini bisa main sampai jam berapa, tapi kita usahakan selama mungkin, selama saya sanggup. Oke, tanpa perlu berlama-lama, ayo kita langsung lanjut aja. Jadi kita akan lanjut di episode 2. Judulnya The Memoirs of the Clouded Kokoro. Jadi kalau kalian ingat di Great Ace Adventure yang pertama tuh, Adventures itu yang kan dia kan ini kan ada yang Clouded Kokoro itu case-nya yang si Natsume-nya jadi tersangka. Jadi ternyata dari episode 1 kemarin itu, dari episode 1 nih yang kemarin ini yang resolve yang kita baru selesai main, kita tahu kalau ternyata bukan satu kasus doang. Ternyata terjerat 2 kasus ini si Bapak Natsume-nya. Jadi tanpa lama-lama kita langsung lanjut aja. Ya. Oke. Sekarang kita di Saint Bartholomew's Hospital Recovery Ward. Ini yang abis Mrs. Green-nya udah sadar kayaknya ya.
There you are at last.
Good morning, Mr. Sholmes. Maaf ya, aku lagi hari ini nggak terlalu banyak voice acting. Sekalian istirahat, kita fokus sama gamenya aja.
I think not.
Oh iya, sesatunya ini ya, bukan. Ini kita lagi flashback ke masa lalu ya. Kita ke flashback setelah kasusnya Bapak Natsume selesai. Ini kasus kedua. Jadi sesatunya masih ada di Inggris, belum pulang ke Jepang, ya. Oke, halo.
You're late. What on earth took you so long?
Oh, by the way, is the volume okay? Is the volume okay, or is the game still too loud? I will lower the volume of the game just a little bit more so you guys can hear my voice. Is this okay? Your telegram only arrived at 5 o'clock, Mr. Sholmes, and it's a 20-minute ride to the hospital. Kita dibilang telat. Astaga. Masih turunin lagi kalau gitu. Soalnya ini volume mic aku udah sangat-sangat mentok kan. Paling aku cuma bisa nambahin gainnya aja sih. Segini okay? Is this okay? Is this okay?
That's right, and it's 5:30 now. I think we made very good time. The time is utterly irrelevant. The fact is, I have been waiting for what has felt like an eternity.
Oh, this is an accurate depiction of what living in the UK is like. Oh, traffic jam? Traffic jam? Pembelaan dari Rinosuke. Kita nggak telat kok, gitu kan. I have waiting for us. Felt like it's already.
In point of fact, I myself was awoken at 4 this morning by a telegram boy, and feeling was somewhat unjust that I alone had been aroused at such an hour. I sent one to you.
Well, thanks for that.
Anyway, you're here now, so the victim is over there. She's only just regained consciousness.
Nah, ini nih korban. This is the victim from the first game, Mrs. Green. Siang, afternoon.
So, you should introduce yourself then. I shall observe from here.
So that's the lady who was found on the snow-covered pavement with a knife in her back. Her name is, yes, here we are, Miss Green. Banyak barang. This rounded wooden figure isn't the most charming, is it? I don't think that's a decoration, Mr. Naruhodo. Di first game kan nulisnya Naruhodo-san loh. Sekarang diganti jadi Mr. Naruhodo ya, bisa gitu ya? It's an artist's mannequin, I believe. Used when practicing sketching in a human form in different poses. Really? Is It's not exactly what you call a typical figure for that purpose though, is it? Kayaknya bukan artis manekin deh. Itu terlalu bundar. Biasanya kalau yang artis manekin bisa digerak-gerakin juga badannya. Kayaknya itu juga nggak ada jointsnya ya buat digerak-gerakin. No, I suppose not. I confess I've never seen one quite full figure before.
Oh well, if you want to draw a full figure person, it's the right tool for the job.
Ada foto nih. Foto siapa kayaknya?
Look, there's a photograph in this frame right here.
Oh yes. It's a picture of a young gentleman.
He looks to be about the same age as Miss Green, I would say. Perhaps the young woman's special someone, do you think?
Hello. Welcome. Naruhodo-san, I didn't know you had a sense for matters of the heart.
Not in the least. I sincerely said the first thing I thought of.
Kepencet. Bentar. Kita skip. Oke. Kepencet. Mohon maaf. Apa nih?
This looks like the Passion's treatment notes. Let's see. Do not feed.
Maksudnya apa do not feed? Dikira kebun binatang. Oh beneran kan? Dinoski langsung bilang kebun binatang ya.
What is this place? A zoo?
Halo, selamat siang. You know, I seem to remember seeing an almost identical sign in our local park.
For the pigeons, yes. But this is a person. Poor woman. I hope she hasn't read this.
Do not feed! Oh my god! What is this atrocities?
There are lots of bottles in that cabinet, aren't there? Do you think it's safe to keep them like that?
If you are a patient here, I feel sure you'll take some medicine by mistake when you were half asleep.
That is a worry, but at least the cabinet has a lock, even if it's only a flimsy-looking one.
Oh, I have no doubt you'd managed to unlock that somehow while you were asleep. Were half asleep as well.
There are limits even to what I can do when I'm half asleep, you know, Mrs. Sato.
Karena Susato tuh bercandanya masih Inosuke tuh gitu. Oh ada Ih, a mouse! Naruhodo-san, an enormous mouse.
Vermin in a hospital? That doesn't seem the best.
But it looks like a very healthy specimen, doesn't it? It's very plump.
I'm not sure we can say that's down to the excellence of this facility, if that's what you were thinking.
Ntar kita ngomong sama Miss Green-nya belakangan.
This looks like the treatment notes for whoever occupying this bed. Let's see. Do not permit to run around the hospital.
The patient doesn't seem to be here at the moment, so...
He or she is probably running around the hospital then.
Oh dear, how worrying.
What's worrying is, why they haven't discharged the patient yet?
Udah bisa lari-lari, kenapa kagak di-discharge aja gitu kan?
There are all sorts of medicines in this cabinet, look. I'm not sure if it's safe leaving them in reach of everyone like this.
Yes, you're right. I can imagine if you were peckish, you might try a whole bottle or two.
Well, at least there seems to be a little lock to secure the cabinet doors.
I don't imagine that would stop you if you were hungry. I worry that you'd break the lock.
Hunger doesn't turn me into a criminal, you know, Mrs. Sato.
Siapa juga yang kalau lapar makannya obat? Ayo ngaku! Guys, is there any of you here who eat the medicine when you are hungry? Save dulu. Okay, time to check. Kita lihat tasnya dulu aja. That must be a bag of Miss Green's personal belongings.
She would have been brought directly here after she was found stabbed on the pavement though.
I expect a friend or family member probably brought some things for her.
Alright then, let's see what's inside. Change of clothes, no dot, and...
No, Mr. Naruhodo, you must never scrutinize a young maiden's personal belongings.
But the young maiden might have chocolates or biscuits or caramel.
Okay, now let's talk.
Good morning. Hello, Inosuke Naruhodo from the Empire of Japan.
No, was it your knife that... are you the man who...
No, I'm a lawyer.
And I'm Susato Mikotoda. Pleased to meet you. Oh, no, was it your knife then? Are you the one? No, I assure you, I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant. We heard that you'd regained consciousness and wanted to come to give you our best wishes. Best wishes for me? Thank you. I'm Olive Green. I'm an artist. Well, no, that's not right, is it? What I mean is, I'm trying to be an artist. Well, what I really mean is, I desperately want to be an artist. But the truth is, I don't have any talent. I know I don't. It's no wonder I was stabbed in the back. Itu kejatuhan pisau, Mbak. Kejatuhan pisau, Mbak. Bukan salahnya Mbak. Gimana dong?
I don't think that's related, actually.
Gosh, this young woman seems to bend over backwards to put herself down.
Seeing as we're here, we should ask her about what happened from her perspective, I suppose. To suddenly be struck in the back by a blade as you were walking along the pavement. What a terrible experience you had, Miss Green.
It was so cold that day, and the fog was so thick, I couldn't see a thing. That was 4 days ago now, I think. Is that right? Yes, that's right. I'm afraid you've been comatose all the time. Yeah, her name is Green. But the case has been solved, hasn't it? Well, I've been here in the hospital, I mean.
Indeed it has, my dear madam. Spectacularly by none other than I. Hello,
Sholmes. Well, he's just happily taking the credit for it. Mr. Sholmes. Oh, goodness. Mr. Sholmes, and as you well know, it was Mr. Naruhodo's hard work in court that solved the case.
Are you yet to hear what happened, Miss Green?
Yes, I'm afraid so. A gentleman from the police force is supposed to be coming to fill me in shortly. Oh, I see. Me coming around seems to have made everyone frantically amazing. I'm so sorry. I should never have regained consciousness. No! It was selfish of me. No! Please don't be too pessimistic. It's not your fault. Oh, no! We're all so relieved that you're on the mend, Miss Green. Really, we are.
With that kind of attitude, maybe her surname should be Blue, not Green.
Blue the Raptor. So,
you're an artist, are you, Miss Green?
Oh no! Oh, I couldn't possibly claim that. I'm a fledgling artist at best. I mean, I'm a student of art, really, at the Thorndike Academy of Fine Arts. I'm so sorry for my British accent, guys. I cannot do the pronunciation. I will stop it right now. Oh my, an Academy of Fine Arts. Great Britain is such a wonderful country.
Tell me, Miss Green, do you live hereabouts?
Oh no, actually, I don't deserve it, but I have a little flat on Brixton Road. I see. How
very interesting.
Oh no, is it?
Brixton is some 10 stops away from on the underground from here. And Thorndike Academy is a mere 3-minute walk from Brixton Town Center. Does that matter, Mrs. Jones? Perhaps not, but Briar Road is a far less salubrious part of town by comparison, dwelt by those of inferior means. Including the maleficent Mr. Bushtosh. Inferior means? I suppose Suzuki-san does fit the bill. It struck me as somewhat out of the ordinary for a young fine art student to be working in such a district. That's all.
Very good. No, thank you, Tori-san. But I don't think it's good.
What's this? What's this? She suddenly climbed up.
Mr. Jones, you should be ashamed of yourself, prying into a young maiden's private affairs.
Oh dear me, you forgive me.
If you don't mind, I'm being discharged shortly, so I need to pack up my things.
Oh yes, of course, we won't keep you. Thank you so much, Miss Green.
Sebenarnya baju lucu ya si Miss Green.
Is there Mr. Narrow Fodder here? Mr. Narrow Fodder? Narrow Fodder now? Well, if you're looking for Naruhodo the lawyer, that's me, but... Mr. Narrow Fodder! Good, this is for you. It's a message from Mr. Sushi Natsumak.
Sushi Natsumak! Oh my god, typo mulutnya. Minum dulu, bentar guys, minum dulu guys. Sushi Natsumak. Yeah, narrow fodder.
Narrow Fodder! Mr. Natsume, send a message to me?
But why will the policeman be delivering a message from Mr. Natsume?
Exactly. What's going on? What's a Scotland Yard constable doing playing delivery boy at this time in the morning? What are you waiting for? Let me see that. Oh. Well, this is most unexpected. Is something wrong, Mr. Jones? Is something wrong, Mrs. Jones, he says? Have you not seen this note?
Well, you just grabbed it off my hand, sir!
No, how could I have?
Ya, kayaknya susah namanya buat orang Inggris.
It would seem that London's criminals have no intention of letting the great detective arrest. A new case calls, a case of murder, no less. We must depart at once.
Murder?
Call a cab! Time is of the essence! But the trouble is... we've yet to read Mr. Natsume's note. I was thinking we ought to pay him a visit in his lodgings once we're there. That will be entirely convenient.
Convenient? What do you mean?
It's all here in the note, my dear fellows. The murder we must investigate took place at Mr. Mustache's lodgings. Wait. What?
I'll hail a firecracker. I don't know how to read that. I'm sorry guys, I don't know how to pronounce it. I'll hail something at once.
It was only yesterday that Suzuki-san was in court and we were dispelling doubts about his innocence. And now...
Firecracker? I don't know.
And now, the very next day, there's a murder at the men's own address. He may be very well the unluckiest man alive. Or so it seemed to us at the time, but we were soon to discover it was worse than we thought.
Fiacra. File crack. Kita kembali ke kos-kosannya Mr. Natsume. Oh my gosh. What on earth? Oh my! The gentleman is deceased without question. He's dead!
Welcome, student. Mr. Nahon is fine. Mr. Natsume. Oh, why? Why is this happening? Why to me? I've only just got out of court yesterday. I was finally home after 2 days of misery, and then I wake up the next day to this. The only bird should catch a worm like this. Go for a worm without wiggle. I see you're in high spirits again this morning, Mr. Mustache. Ah, not the horrible Herlock Sholmes. Shove off! Show yourself the door! I never invited you!
Mr. Sholmes came here with us. I'm quite sure he'll be able to help you, Mr. Natsume.
I am entirely at your disposal, Mr. Mustache. What can I do for you?
Siya. Yeah, he's suffering. I don't know, mati kali ya.
Here they are. Here they are already. The busybodies. Ah, Inspector Gregson, what a pleasant surprise. Pleasant, is it? Gives me heartburn every time I see your face at crime scene shows. Ah! I deduce, Inspector, that your heartburn is a result of your excessive consumption of fried food.
Ya, jangan keseringan makan goreng-gorengan.
Good morning, Inspector. This is a crime scene. Don't you go touching anything.
Or good morning to you too, sunshine. Oh my god.
Oi! I said hands off! You're gonna mess up my crime scene.
Oh, no, I just wanted to look. That's all.
No chance! I know your kind. You'll mess it up just by looking at it.
Hey, someone's in a bad mood. Belum. Tadi baru makan pagi, tapi belum makan siang. Nanti makan siangnya sambil free talk di sini. Yeah, the invited fish and chips. Sunshine seems so affectionate. Oh well, but Gregson really called him Sunshine. In case 5, whenever Iris is around, she always calls Naruhodo with Sunshine.
There's certainly some bad air in here, isn't there?
Alright, it sounds
Like I'd better talk to the inspector first and try to curry some favor. So, Inspector, what was the victim's name? Who was he? Mr. William Shakespeare. Shakespeare. He was a lodger here.
Yes, he is. He did. He called him Sunshine.
As you can probably tell, he was an actor. A bit of a dead loss as it happens, or just dead.
Sir Shakespeare.
He was the landlord, old Mr. Garidap and the other lodger, Mr. Natsume, who found him. The fellow didn't rise at his usual hour, so Garidap got worried and kicked the door down.
What? Doesn't Mr. Garidap have a bad leg?
Ah, yeah, you're right there. It was the jittery Japanese hunchback over there who actually did the kicking. Really? Taseki-san? The victim was pretty hard out, it seems. Even done some time inside for petty crimes. He had no money, no place to go, and no friends. His only acquaintances were the people in his house. Miserable life, and a miserable end to it. So, what exactly is Mr. Mr. Natsume still doing here? He's not involved in the investigation, so shouldn't you have sent him away from the crime scene? Well, I'm not saying it's because the fellow looks odd or anything, or that he acts suspicious, but I thought it would be prudent to take a statement from the cohabiter. You nearly said culprit there, didn't you?
Oh dear. So Natsume appears to be under suspicion again. Kentangnya enak kayaknya. Lumayan, itu dia makan fish and chips yang dibungkus gitu loh kayak gorengan. Jadi itu ikan sama kentang. Yeah, I miss that fish and chip. I feel like getting some fish and chip. I already know how to make some fish and chips, guys, but I still don't know how to make the proper sauce for it. How to make the proper sauce for the fish and chip?
It sort of seems that way. He does just come across as such an odd fellow, doesn't he?
Oh man, unfortunate.
Anyway, I can't say much. I can say much until the coroner gets here. But I don't think the fellow's been a coroner that long. The body's still warm.
Even if the inspector would allow it, I don't think I could bring myself to touch a dead body. Oh my god. I don't know how to do the voice acting. So many males, so many men, so many males, yeah. Not the tartar sauce. Not the tartar sauce that we got to dip the fish. But the dressing for the fish. What a terrible things have happened.
It's only been 3 days since I was arrested for the incident on the pavement outside. And then, having finally regained my freedom, it's all happening all over again. Endless existence of excruciating experiences!
Not the batter, no. Jadi gini, kalau kalian makan fish and chip itu, kan di atas ikannya tuh ada sausnya dulu, tuh ada dressingnya dulu. Abis itu juga disiapin tartar sauce buat dipping the fish. Gitu. Ada dressingnya dikit di atasnya, kayak ada saus putihnya gitu, tapi bukan tartar. Agak mirip creamy cheesy something. So the victim lived here on the ground floor and your room is just 1 story up, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. Yes, that's right. In a way, we were neighbors, I suppose. So, did you know the victim? Were you friends?
What's the matter with Soseki-san? I'm sorry. What's the matter with Soseki-san now? It was an innocent enough question, wasn't it? Why does he seem so shaken by it? Well, I suppose he was an accomplice stranger.
Did he ever invite me to his room? Never! On my honor! I swear it!
What an extreme reaction. You're probably wishing you'd never asked now, aren't you, Mr. Naruto?
When I found him here, I felt wretched. Which is why I sent word asking you to come. Through that inspector over there!
Okay. Back to you, I guess. Time to... Oh well. Back to you? Oh, okay, ini udah. Nah, gini kan udah kita ajak ngomong, berarti kan udah beres. Nah, jadi yang dipegang apa dong sekarang? you, not you, not you, not you. Udah aja ngomong Natsume juga. Oh, this guy. Gak bisa dicek dulu cangkirnya, kan dibilang mesti ngomong dulu sama orang-orang. Ditolak, nggak boleh sama Gregson ngecek-ngecek ya.
Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing? Oh, you need only observe to know it, my dear fellow. Investigating, naturally.
There's nothing natural about that pose. Mr. Sholmes, have you made some miraculous discovery?
Patience, my dear madam. Patience. We've now been here in this room 5 minutes. So far, all I've managed to deduce is what actually happened.
Oh my goodness, but isn't that everything we need to know, Mr. Sholmes?
Oh, Now that you propose the idea, I believe one could indeed see it that way. At the present time, I have managed to draw two incontrovertible conclusions. Sorry. First, that there was a physical struggle here last night in which the victim fought for his life. Mr. Natsume, what's wrong? Is something that Mr. Sholmes said significant somehow?
Money.
No, don't mind me. Forget I was here.
Kayak aku tetap paling suka bagian ini, tau gak sih, kayak enak aja gitu. Tapi ini kayak remixnya beda ya.
And my second conclusion is that there was a poison lingering in the air here last night that passed the victim's lips. Nonsense! Alright, Mr. Natsume. Why are you reacting so extremely to Mr. Sholmes' deductions? No! Please! Pretend I'm not here! Invisible, ineffable, inscrutable, insignificant! Impossible to ignore.
You must tell us everything, Mr. Sholmes. Spare no detail.
But of course, let the theatrical tragedy before us be unraveled by my great deductions, presented for your pleasure in 2 acts.
We've heard some truly astounding great deductions from Mr. Sholmes in the past. Even though you have to correct it yourselves, not Rinosuke. No doubt this will be no exception. What miracles will unfold before our eyes this time. Siang!
So, my dear fellows, for your delight and wonder, let the curtain rise for Sherlock Sholmes' Logic and Reasoning Spectacular Act 1!
Pasti banyak. Seperti biasa, ini akan ada banyak salahnya guys, terus kita yang disuruh ngebenerin. Topic 1, cause of death.
Careful observation of the victim reveals to us the events that transpired in this disconsolate room last night. Foam at the mouth of the deceased clearly indicates the use of poison. Next to the victim, we notice a large dining plate which contains, you will observe, 1/2 of sizable bar of soap. Meaningful? Indubitably. Why is the soap set so purposefully upon the dish? Like the victim's last supper, in fact, yes.
Well, makan sabun. Ya makan sabun beneran kali korban.
Could it be that the man was about to eat it? Of course, the fork reveals the answer. It appears that the young man's appetite was his undoing. Taking up arms in the form of his cutlery, the victim engaged in a deadly battle for his life.
Wah, ada yang tring-tring nih. Ada yang ting gitu tadi.
Yet the struggle against his hunger was in vain, for in the end he couldn't resist devouring the slippery fist. But London's foul soap is besmirched by foul poison.
Ngapain juga makan sabun? Guys, Layla ingetin ya di sini ya. Jangan sampai makan sabun ya, guys. Please do not eat the soap. Do not eat soap. Okay? Refrain yourself from eating any soap. Soap bar and liquid. Tak boleh dimamam.
Yes! The victim's life was claimed by poison that tainted contents of the plate. Soap and a lather about the young man's mouth are too perfectly matched to ignore.
Sabun yang wangi buah, ya kamu cobain kalau penasaran ya. Ya kalau nggak pahit ya. Kalau bukannya pahit deh sabun. Pasti pahit nggak sih? Aku belum pernah cobain sih, dan nggak mau juga sih gitu. Kalau dalam keadaan terpaksa kan kita nggak tahu. Makan sabun bisa mati nggak sih? Itu kan kimia semua. Waduh.
The cause of death was clear intoxication due to excessive ingestion of foul soap.
Buset.
Though, personally, I have a greater interest in the taste of foul candle wax, of course.
Shoms, kamu tuh kenapa sih?
Poisoning from soap ingestion.
Tikus makan sabun nggak mati. Nggak ngerti. Suicide or murder. Stop eating any soap, guys. Do not eat any soap. And hello by the way, hello. Sudah ada contohnya kan? Ini kayaknya nih depan mata kita. How do you eat soap? Just bite the soap or drink the liquid soap? I don't know, but please refrain yourself from doing it. Thank you. Just a friendly reminder from a flat person, a flat anime girl on your screen. Refrain yourself from eating any soap. Tikus makan sabun itu lagu. Oh, aku kirain joke deh. Aku kirain meme tuh gak sih? Ada sih, ada sabun yang bau buah, baunya menggoda banyak. Layla juga pernah dikasih yang wangi pisang, wangi mangga, wangi stroberi, wangi apel gitu kan. Tapi ya nggak berminat untuk dimakan juga. Serem gak sih? Oke.
The cause of death identified, we proceed to Act 2, where we ponder the next question. Was this suicide or murder?
Tuh udah twitching tuh si siapa? Natsume.
The audience will recall the death occurred during the victim's last supper. Did the man dine and die alone? The single teacup suggests the answer. To draw a conclusion on such meager evidence would be foolish, however, certainly. The careful criminal could have absconded with his own cup to cover his tracks. Well, allow me to lift the veil of doubt, my dear fellow.
Tikus emang bisa. Ada ya orang makan sabun tapi nggak apa-apa. Yes, guys, you don't eat soap.
Indeed, what reveals the answer, of course, is the broken lock.
Oh iya tuh pintunya hancur tuh.
Though for soap and now,
Aku capek voice actingnya. Gak bisa juga, mohon maaf. Biasa aja ya. Though for soap and now, at the time of the incident, the door was locked. And the soul key was in the victim's pocket. In other words, when the victim consumed the poison, he must have been alone. Alone with his inferior soul, from whence wafted an inferior scent. And with that acrid aroma lingering in the air, the victim met his end in tragic solitude. We can take comfort only in the fact that his soul was well cleansed on its way to the hereafter. Okay, berarti you basically Shamsu, you just You just agree that he died alone. So Natsume wasn't at fault here. Thank you. Aduh, tolong jangan dicoba. Jangan dicoba. Pernah nelen sampo. Aduh, ya oke guys, tapi jangan ditiru lagi ya. Terima kasih. We can take comfort only in the fact that his soul was well cleansed on its way to the hereafter. A possible perpetrator present. Ya, oke. Bukan salahnya Mr. Natsume deh. Thus concludes the final act of Sherlock Holmes' great deduction. But sorry, I will correct it. I will fix your deduction. And Gregson will just stay silent. Thank you for the super chat. Ekanarati. Chat ketahuan umur ya. Tahu lagu Tikusakan Sabun. There's just one thing, Mr. Holmes. You are disposed to identifying just one thing, aren't you, Mr. Naruhodo? Play, what concerns you? Well, no matter how hungry he was, do you really think the man would have eaten soup? Ya mending makan fish and chips, betul. It is quite apparent that this man had barely a penny to his name. It is a curious thing, but to one so destitute, soap can suddenly appear quite irresistibly appetizing. Buka shampoo yang sachetan pakai gigi, muncrat dan ketelan. Iya, kadang susah tuh nggak sih buka shampoo yang sachetan gitu. Jadi kalau misalnya kayak lagi pergi ya, daripada Layla beli shampoo sachetan buat dipakai mandi gitu, kalau lagi pergi-pergi mendingan Layla siapin botol kecil diisi shampoo dari rumah aja. Soalnya lagi mandi gitu nggak bisa buka sachet sampo-nya, susah banget, buset. It is a curious thing, but once so destitute, soap can suddenly appear quite irresistibly appetizing. Ya itu kamu aja kali, Holmes. Kamu jajan pernah coba? Iya, seringnya shampoo gituan gak ada sobekannya. Ada teknologi namanya gunting, tapi kalau udah di kamar mandi emang kepikiran lagi gitu buat keluar cari gunting gitu di saat sudah tidak mengenakan pakaian gitu kan. Ngapain lagi keluar cari gunting? Apalagi kalau lagi nginep-nginep gitu, masa nanya dulu, permisi mbak, mas punya gunting gak? Ya kan gak lucu. Ya, jadi kadang-kadang kalau beliin sachetan itu biasanya kayak terpaksa gitu loh. Kayak misalnya lagi homestay atau kalau nggak lagi live in gitu kan di rumah penduduk, terus aduh lupa bawa shampoo gitu kan. Terus mereka kan juga nggak sedia shampoo, jadi terpaksa beli shampoo sachetan di depan. Gigi kan biasanya kepikiran pakai kayak gigi. Iya, tapi kadang tuh nggak kepikiran gitu loh, karena kayak biasalah udah basah baru mikir, waduh ini mukanya gimana, kan pikun. Pinjem guntingnya sebelum mandi. Iya makanya sekali lagi lupa, nggak kepikiran. Oke lanjut. How extraordinary. It's true I have tried a little. Pantesan di Shoms dia pernah cobain. You've eaten it, you mean? Hi, fellow. It was some time ago now. My postulation was that it would cleanse my gut. Oh, dia pikir bisa bersihin perutnya dong. Ya, aku juga pakai shampoo botolan yang isi ulang. Terus kalau lagi pergi nginep-nginep, tinggal pakai botol tinggal pindahin ke botol kecil gitu. Kan suka beli tuh di Big So, apa sih? Di Huge So gitu kan. Wih, di Huge So. Oke, and did it? Yang ada kayak makin sakit perut gak sih?
As I writhed in agony on the floor and spilled the contents of my stomach. Yes, I believe it did.
Itu namanya kamu keracunan, Babang. The experience taught me a valuable lesson. Soap is quite poisonous. It has an unpleasant taste and leads to great discomfort. In summary, I cannot recommend it. Dia makan sabunnya, guys. Believe me, I wouldn't eat it even if you did. There's something that troubles me as well, actually. Oh, what's that? Tapi kenapa lagunya bagus banget ya di sini ya? Aduh, it's Mr. Natsume. Oh, dia dari tadi tuh fidgety banget ya si Natsume. I couldn't help noticing him shuddering and quivering out of the corner of my eye. Iya, kayak nggak bisa diem gitu. Tadi. Almost as if Mr. Sholmes' seductions touch a nerve somehow. Ini pasti fix dia jadi defendant lagi dan kita harus defend dia lagi. Kasihan banget sih.
Nonsense.
Well, that clenched episode didn't last. I think, judging by Mr. Natsume's reaction, the great detective seduction may need some gentle corrections in order to reach the actual truth. Betul kan, aku lagi? Yang benerin. Yes, Mr. Sholmes' observations and deductions are sometimes a little too sharp. He has a tendency to hit the nail on the side of the head and drive it in at an obtuse angle. When he does that, it falls to us to straighten things out. Alright then, let's see what we can do. Yes, we must pick out the keywords in Mr. Sholmes' quite brilliant deductions and discreetly exchange them for something that makes a little more sense. If we can do that, I'm sure we'll arrive at what Mr. Sholmes meant to say in the first place. In that case, are you ready for the second performance of the day? Once again, my dear fellows, for your continued delight and wonder, let the curtain rise for Sherlock Holmes' Logic and Reasoning Spectacular Act 1. Okay, course correction. Hold it, Mr. Holmes! Selalu harus kita betulin. Seperti biasa. Okay, correction. Not poison? Okay, let's check. Logic, which means you will observe one half a sizable bar of something meaningful? Indubitably. Sabar dimakan dong. Bukannya sabun lebih mahal ya? Yeah, the man was about to eat it, of course. No, not the fork, I guess. Well, you can't deny that a fork implies the man was eating something or about to eat something. Yes, that's true. If I were to decide to eat some soap, I should prefer to use a fork than to attempt it with chopsticks. And of course, only half of the bar of soap is left on the plate. But might there not be some other explanation? Something material that proves whether or not the man really ate some soap. Kita ceki dulu. Pick up. Do you think he was drinking tea with his soap? Cup's empty, so there's no way of knowing. How about this for an idea? Perhaps the cup was full of water, and he was dissolving soap in it so he could gulp as much down as possible. Let's remember that he may not actually have been the soap lover that he's been made out to be. Kan itu kan cuma tuduhannya si Sholmes doang ya. Okay, let's check the fork. I suppose you did soap with a fork, won't you? I don't think it's a question of which implement you use. Usually it's soap, full stop.
But then why? Why does the man have fork in his hand?
Oh dear, I understand your frustration, Mr. Maroto, but please don't take it out on me. The point is, if we decide the man used this fork to eat the soap, we will then be changing Mr. Sholmes' deduction. So we really ought to consider some other clues. Putar. Fork, ada apa lagi sih? Ada bisa dicek lagi kah? Putar, 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 putar. Kayaknya udah ya, nggak ada apa-apa lagi, cuman ada fork sama tikap. Nggak ada lagi kah? Sama sekali nggak ada lagi nih, biasanya banyak. Okay, I don't think there is anything. We can't even choose the soap, so maybe it's just this tikap. Tikap. Kok nggak ada? Tapi nggak bisa diputar-putar. Makanya aku mau cari yang lain. Bukan. Di lantai ada sabun. Masa sih? Tadi di lantai aku geser, geser cuman bisa itu doang. Coba kita cek lagi ya. Kita coba putar-putar lagi. Mungkin mainnya kurang jauh kita. Issues might not be the most appropriate term to describe that. Kita putar-putar lagi. Okay. Putar. Some soap on the plate and a fork in the hand. Even so, surely you wouldn't try to eat soap no matter how hungry you are. We must determine most of the victim thinks soap when they die. Until we can establish that some certainly shan't make any progress. Talk about the slippery plant. Kita cek dulu di mana. Putar. Oh wait, there's actually soap there. Aha, look, there's more soap on the floor here. Mr. Sam Spear must have really loved this stuff. Let's just jump to conclusion, Mr. Naruhodo. The closing. Do you see it will fit together perfectly with the whole part on the table? What can that mean? I think that there are two halves on the same part that broke apart. Cik. Oh, tadi mainnya kurang jauh kita. Pas ada di situ. Nah. Dash. But please guys, please refrain from telling me or hinting anything, thank you. Could be that the man was about to eat it? Of course, your piece of soap reveals the answer. It being the other half of the soap on the table. In short, the victim was not eating soap at all. It's obvious, really. For no depths of hunger could drive any man to eat soap. To eat soap. Even I, with my unquenchable thirst for practical knowledge, took only a single bite. Sama aja! But that begs the question of how the man was poisoned, because there's no sign of any food on the table. An excellent observation, Mr. Naruhodo, and one that furnishes us with the answer we seek. For London's foul soap is besmirched by foul poison. Yes, the victim's life was claimed by the poison that tainted the contents of the plate. Maybe not the plate. Sholmes is still pushing the soap argument then. Perhaps he's suggesting the man lick the soap rather than eat it. If soap in London is that poisonous, I don't think I want to be washing my hands with it. But there are no signs of any food in this room at all. Of course, food isn't the only thing that passes people's lips, is it? Plan. Plan. This is the fork. Okay, the victim didn't eat the soap. Then what did he eat? Yes, it's a real mystery, isn't it? Ah, I've got it. He wasn't interested in eating the soap at all. It was this fork he wanted to satisfy his hunger with. So Naruhodo, I really don't think it's helpful to continue with this line of reasoning that the gentleman had peculiar taste. Sato-san has such a gentle way with words, but I know what I've been told of. Gak tau sih, Sholmes senang joget-joget. Tikap. Oke, pelan-pelan. Ingat the tikap gak sih? Yes, a western vessel for the serving of infusions of dried tea leaves. It's a teacup, Mr. Naruhodo, as you well know. Stop putting on airs. And it's empty.
Ah, so we've already established that the victim wasn't eating soap when he died. However, there's significant evidence to suggest that he was drinking tea.
My thoughts exactly. Kayaknya poisonnya di teacup. Nyak. Siang. Good afternoon. Yes, Yes, the victim's life was claimed by poison that tainted the teacup. Indeed. Cups have been the vessel of choice for practicing poisoners over the centuries. And it will appear that this victim drank every last drop. Noda apa di meja nggak tahu, kayaknya noda minuman yang tumpah deh. Jangan-jangan dia pas minum poison ketumpahan gitu di situ. Maybe he just spilled the drinks which got laced by the poison.
There's no sign of food anywhere in the room.
Which leads us to the immutable conclusion. The cause of death was clearly intoxication due to the ingestion of poison contained in this teacup. Poison in the tea. Okay, suicide or murder. The cause of death identified, we proceed to Act 2, where we ponder the next question. Was this suicide or murder? The audience will recall that death occurred during the victim's last supper. Keselak sendok. Did the man dine and die alone? The single teacup has the answer. Suggest the answer.
The Western vessel for infused hot drinks again. It's already featured heavily in our deductions so far.
Yes, we can imagine that shortly before his death, Mr. Shakespeare was having a drink of tea. There would be nothing remarkable about that, but what troubles me is Mr. Natsume's reaction when he heard Mr. Shum suggest it.
There's more to this deduction than it seems.
We must closely examine the scene of the crime again for some more clues. Ini kayak nodanya juga nggak bisa di... Wait, ini bisa dicek? Oh, other teacup. We got the other teacup. It's another Western vessel for the infused... It's a teacup! And it too is empty.
Given that he's actually holding this one in his hand, you can assume that this is the cup from which Mr. Shakespeare was actually drinking. But if that's the case, this changes everything. Everything we have deduced up to now is turned on its head. I have a bad feeling about this. I almost don't want to say it.
Yes, I know exactly how you feel. This other teacup. Ada lagi yang bisa dicek? Masuk. This other teacup. Pop! Western infused.
Did the man dine and die alone? This other teacup suggests the answer.
Beep beep boop boop. Ini apa sih? Kayak banyak. Ini yang belanja. Akhir tahun. Yes, there were 2 teacups in this room all along. In other words, this is a strong indication that... Kenapa aku cicikan sih? At the victim's last supper, there was a guest present. At the very least, we can say now with certainty.
Somebody else was here in this room last night, taking tea with the victim. What are you talking about? Utterly unbelievable, unjustly unreasonable! To draw a conclusion on such meager evidence would be foolish, however, certainly. In which case, what more can we deduce about this possible guest at the table? Well, allow me to leave the veil of doubt, my dear fellow. Do you mean to say you know who exactly was in this room at the time of the victim's death? Indeed. What reveals the answer, of course, is the broken lock.
Not the broken lock.
I'm not sure I like where this deduction is going now.
I'm afraid it's too late to go back to the halcyon days of eating too much of soup.
But the identity of the guest who was in here last night when the victim passed away is something I have a very bad feeling about.
Well, you can try to ignore your feelings, but we cannot ignore the truth, Mr. Naruto.
No, I suppose not. Time to look around again.
It's empty. Empty of liquid, but
Empty of liquid, but full of air. That makes you think, doesn't it?
it makes me think that you're full of hot air. You should be thinking about who else was in the room at the time.
Whether Susato's quip in response was cleverer than my original riddle. At first glance, it seems that the only things in this room are the makeshift stage and the costume. I overlooked these 3 books initially.
I wonder what they are. Let's see. The titles read The Picture of Monsieur Lecoq, Canterbury News, and A Meal for Garboyer. Ini buku-buku yang dibeli sama Soseki nggak sih?
Wait, I'm sure I've heard those titles before.
Could just be an incredible coincidence, but they're the exact same 3 books that Mr. Natsume purchased the other day. Indeed, Susato. Indeed.
What? Yes, on the day of the unfortunate incident when Miss Green was stabbed. Soseki-san had just been to a bookshop and bought them, that's right.
Now those 3 titles are here in the room of the victim.
Yet Mr. Natsume claims never to have been here before. What does this mean, do you think?
I really don't know what to make of it. Mampus. What is this candle? Bukan fix killernya, tapi Soseki defended, tertuduh yang tersangka gitu deh.
Even if Mr. Shakespeare didn't eat candles, it seems.
We've already established that he didn't eat soap either.
Oh, do you think perhaps the guest brought this candle here last night?
Even if he or she did, does it reveal anything about the guest's identity?
Point. It was my idea. Snapped out. Like that candle will be.
If you sigh so deeply, Mr. Naruto, you're in danger of blowing out the flame. Omega eh? Omega eh?
Indeed, what reveals the answer, of course, is the pile of familiar books. What so? It's no mere coincidence that these 3 titles are here in this room. It's the link to the truth.
Mr. Natsume, you purchased these books 4 days ago at a second-hand bookshop. That's just a coincidence. Kok ngantuk sih? In that case, you will be able to bring the same 3 titles from your own room, will you not? This very moment. No, never, non-negotiable. If you can't bring your own copies here, it proves that these 3 books are in fact yours. Having purchased the books 4 days ago and returned to your lodgings, you were arrested the very next day. So you could conceivably have brought the books here on that evening, but you never mentioned them. In other words, you could only have brought this book There's 3 books here to the victim's room. Oh. Last night, having returned to your lodgings after the trial concluded at the Old Bailey. Sure, there's only one possible conclusion. The victim died here in his room last night as a result of poisoning. And that same night, the victim had a visitor. And that visitor... was you, Mr. Sasaki Natsume? Dari tadi dia nutup-nutupin kan? Thus concludes the final act of Sherlock Holmes' Great Deduction. Sasaki Natsume at the scene. Deduction complete. Element 3. Not again. Not again. Not again. Not again! Well done, Mr. Oh.
Well done, Mr. Natsume. Will appear you're gonna have to accompany me down to the yard again. But wait! Aren't you horses? Yes. Door, key, locked, entry, exit entirely impossible.
Hello.
He's so flustered, he's being even stranger than on. What? You think that's an alibi? You could have just made a copy.
What?
You live in the same building after all. You have had plenty of opportunity, I'm sure.
Oh, itu fish and chips. Jadi itu bukan roti tapi ikan goreng.
Misery me!
Oh my god, guys, I don't know why I'm so sleepy. But I guess I'm taking a power nap. I cannot do British accent, sorry. Sorry, sir, you'll get your chance to give your side of the story later.
Facts speak for themselves, Mr. Mustache. Ah! You horrible Sherlock Holmes!
He really has found himself an arch rival now, hasn't he?
Come on now, no dilly-dallying. Outside, there's a carriage waiting.
Welcome, student Miss Naruto exclaimed.
I never imagined I'd be in this position again, but... You have to help me! Please, I'm innocent!
Alright, I understand. We'll come to your cell later and talk about it.
And one more thing.
Yes. My poor little kitty cat. Please give him his breakfast for me! Hello! Good morning. So, his evil career is still apparently unbroken. Misaki-san found himself once again the prime suspect in a case of murder. Thanks to the incriminating deduction of the great detective. My dear fellow, that honor belongs to you. Well, at least that means Inspector Gregson is no longer here. I'll examine the crime scene in more detail now. Yes, that's right. And of course...
What?
Have you forgotten what the inspector mentioned before? Oh. I feel like taking a power nap. I'm really sleepy. sleepy. I cannot hold down my sleepiness. Bangun, Layla. Ngantuk. He was the landlord, Mr. Garidep, who discovered Mr. Shakespeare. And Mr. John Garidep, yes. I expect we could find him in his sitting room on the top floor as usual. Time to examine. And here we are. Another disproportionately large machine. This looks like a mirror of some kind. Oh, in this district, residents pay for gas as they use it with the coins. Yes, now you've pointed it out. You can see that there's a slot just here that looks like it will take a coin. So you mean if you put a coin in here? That's right, that will buy you about 2 hours of gas for lights and heating. So if you were a poor person with no money, you'd have to sleep in a freezing cold. Yes, or if you were a scatterbrain with no change because you forgot to exchange your money at the bank. Thank goodness there's no mirror in our office. I almost fall asleep, guys. Tuks, bangun nanti. Kalau nggak sebentar aku power nap dulu. Bentar ya guys, aku power nap dulu. Kalau benar-benar nggak kuat. Tapi kayaknya streamnya aku nggak matiin, nggak apa-apa. Okay. I'm going to take a power nap. Maybe like about half an hour. Wait, I will put on my waiting screen so you guys cannot see my face doing the weird twitchy eyes thingy. Okay. Let me take a power nap. Excuse me. Sorry for waiting. I am back. Obok. Sorry for waiting. Aku sambil makan aja ya, jadi ini jadi nggak ngebacain, nggak nge-voice. Itadakimasu. Sorry for waiting. Wait, I'm still gathering my soul. I'm still gathering my consciousness. Tadaima. Okay, open fire. What do you want? Okay, gaslight. Stop. City of gas. Okay, lanjut. Okay. Mamam ya semua, aku sambil mamam. Aku juga suka main ini sambil makan. Jadi ini volume game aku kencengin dulu aja ya, karena aku bakal diem. Kebanyakan bakal dengerin satunya ngomong. Maksudnya dengerin BGM. Aku kencengin aja. Enggak kok, enggak di mute. Tapi emang enggak ngomong aja. Iya, dibanting terus soalnya gelasnya masih apa Fanzix kan. Main gelasnya dilempar terus ke belakang. Wow, ada sabun. Sup. ada retak-retak gitu ini ya. Yang satu di gulp down, jadi maksudnya yang satu minumnya pelan-pelan, yang satu minumnya langsung cepet-cepet. Yang satu minumnya pelan-pelan kan, nggak bertanda. Nggak bertanda kan yang ini. Yang satu lagi bertanda, yang minumnya cepet-cepet. Oke. Diambil satu. Oh, what's this? Oh, in the middle. Oh. Fancy design. Expensive? Kalau misalnya expensive, ngapain gitu kan? Coba lihat lagi. Woohoo! What's this? Yeah. Oh. 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 This what? Ada robekan amplop, tapi kita nggak tahu nih robekan amplop apa. Cepet amat. Bangun. Lah. Lah 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 lah. Lah 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 lah.
Out, brave candle. Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more.
Maya teh bangun, guys.
Now, how soundeth the next part?
It is a tale.
Told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Indeed, oh happy day!
Ya mati lagi. Gimana? Walking Dead. Dia beneran makan sabun kali, jangan-jangan. Obat ayam kan. Kabur, hilang. Kenapa jadi ada sabun di sini? Ya, ini udah pernah dibahas sih. Pernah dibahas di game sebelumnya. Kenapa soal bingung gitu kan? Kenapa di jendela mesti di break gitu? Oh my god, sampai segitunya. Ini lagi ada sepeda penyok. Nabrak. Hey, snowman. Hello. Do you wanna build a snowman? Iya, sepeda dari kasus sebelumnya juga. Ya, yang mau kerja semangat ya. Strange. Two balls snowman. Letter strange. But why? Why is it strange? Overthinking sih satu. Ya kan yang bekas kasus sebelumnya nih. Karena kasus sebelumnya sebenarnya ternyata terjadinya tuh di sini, tapi dipindahin gitu loh, jadi ke sini. Gitu. Anyway, what else? Nothing. Nothing of importance. Fog. Kabut itu emang bikin susah ngeliat ya. Yes, of course. Emang tadi kirain Naruhodo, kirain maksudnya apa nih? Gak dikasih masuk itu. Kan tinggal beli tiket. Sometimes nggak tahu stream sampai jam berapa sepuasnya. Coba kita lihat lagi. Kita ngobrol dulu sama Mr. Gary Depp. Kok aku pindah-pindah terus? Belum ada nih, mau ngomong sama dia. Kita lihat dulu, examine dulu. Devil may care? Devil may care, bukan may cry. They may care. Ya, semangat tugasnya. I wanna know now. Yeah. Ini ada fotonya. Kayaknya aku bilang dia tetap kasih 1 bulan gratis tuh buat art student info. Finding your own man. Buset, nembak diri sendiri. Gary Depp is actually an anagram for brigadier. Oh iya, bener juga ya. Sudah tua soalnya. sama kakinya kan masalah, terluka saat perang. Ini gue pulang. Wah. In the future. Naruhodo-san. Yay. Ternyata betul-betul exist. Singularly dangerous. Ini nih yang kebakar dari kasus pertama tuh. Kebakaran itu gara-gara istri yang marah. No, masih berantakan. Masih belum diberesin. Ya, ditahan. Yang ternyata adalah istrinya. Ditahan karena itu kan jadi meninggal. Jadi kejadiannya tuh si Miss Green itu di game yang pertama bisa ketusuk pisau itu ceritanya karena sebenarnya simpel banget sih. Kan istrinya kayak ngeliat di buku yang lagi dibaca sama si Mr. Garidep ini kayak ada surat cintanya gitu, padahal tuh kayak nggak tahu surat cinta dari zaman kapan keselip itu di buku itu, dan itu kayak punya orang lain gitu tuh bukunya sebelumnya. Terus kayak si istrinya tuh kayak marah-marah kan, istri yang nyamar jadi mate itu marah, jadi dia kan ngelemparin segala macam barang nih. Kalau kalian bisa lihat di sebelah kanan sini kan juga barang tuh hancur gitu kan, di sebelah sini tuh kayak berantakan, pecah gitu. Nah itu karena istri yang ngelemparin banyak barang, dan posisinya waktu itu jendela tuh kayak kebuka. Nah pas ngelempar tuh jatuh, pisaunya tuh jatuh, ketancep deh di orang yang lagi lewat di bawah gitu. Simple itu. Jadi makanya guys, kalau suatu saat kalian punya pasangan, kalau lagi berantem nggak usah sampai piring terbang, pisau terbang, semua terbang ya. Jangan sampai orang lain juga jadi korban gitu. Yeah, there's one in a million chance, but that's the lesson. Jangan sampai terjadi kekerasan ataupun lempar-lempar apapun. Marah boleh, tapi tolong diingat gitu. Jangan sampai orang dilempar-lempar barang gitu kan. torn apart by a wild beast. Don't you know? The experiences of a seasoned veteran. We had us surrounded on all sides. We really thought we were done for, the whole bully company. We were taking a real pounding from their cannons, so all we could do was run for our lives. Oh, I thought the story was going on in a different direction, actually. Well, the whole experience taught me one thing, I can tell you. When you're done for, you're really done for. That's not what a lawyer who often finds himself under fire wants to hear. under fire of words. There's a good view over the wintry East End from up here. It's an oppressively grey scene. There's really nothing comparable in Japan. And down below, Briar Road, partly blanketed in snow. Ya, Jepang warna-warni sih ya soalnya. At the pavement where poor Miss Green was struck in the back by that knife. Thinking about it, this is the only room in this building that actually has a window to the outside world. Sometimes, Great Britain really does seem like a strange land, doesn't it? I suppose all foreign cultures seem strange at first. Imagine how Englishmen would feel on arriving in Japan and seeing people with a chonmage top knot. Well, that's a good point. Abiska. Okay, check it out. Bumpers! This morning incident. It must have been a real shock for you this morning. I hear that you discovered what had happened.
Well, let's hope this actor chart rises at 5 o'clock sharp every morning without fail. At 5:30 this morning, he still hadn't lit the gas. So I went down and knocked on his door, but no bully answer.
And that's when you broke into his room by kicking down the door?
Well, I called that rum-looking Japanese chap to do the clockwork, of course. Wasn't it a little premature to kick the door down? The man could have just overslept by half an hour.
That's very true, Mr. Naruto. If 13 minutes oversleeping warrants such behavior, I'd have to kick your door down every morning. What the?
Well, you know, better to be safe than sorry and all that.
Is it just me, or is he avoiding our gaze now all of a sudden? Except that it was a sorry situation and that I found on the far side of the door.
The victim's name is Mr. Shakespeare, I believe. Is that right? Yes, William Shakespeare. Took the ground floor room 3 months ago now.
And how would you describe him?
In a word, destitute.
Destitute?
Well, let's face it, the only redeeming feature of that room is the chicken run. Anyone wanting to live in a place like that is either broke or has a bully screw loose.
So hard to choose which categories this Soseki-san would fall into. kedengeran dong, apa namanya, pikirannya gitu. Yang mana tuh? Isn't that Naruto? That's a little rude.
Was doing research as well.
Research into what?
Shakespeare, of course. Shakespeare. Read a few plays of the old bard myself, you know. Romeo and Hamlet and all that.
Romeo and Hamlet, gimana? Yes, William Shakespeare is England's most highly regarded classical playwright and author. He's known as Sao in Japanese, as you know, and many of his works have already been translated.
there were a lot of costumes in the victim's room actually, weren't there?
Of course. Of course. Mr. Natsume is a scholar of English literature as well. I imagine he and Mr. Shakespeare would have had much in common.
Shakespeare interpretation disagreement leads to shocking murder. Let's hope it's not that.
Sanaruhodo? Really? How rude. How can you read his mind, young lady?
After Mr. Natsume's trial yesterday, you came straight back here, I believe, didn't you? Did you notice anything strange between then and this morning? Well, now, it must have been about 6 in the evening by the time I got home. Snow was coming down rather heavily, as I remember. And it was completely dark already. That field after chop was out of the time. Garrett had noticed there was no light from his room or something, I suppose. Couldn't summon the energy for anything much, so I just sat in front of the fire up here. It was after 8 before Shakespeare got back. And the chap was up until past 1 in the morning, I'll have you know. Suppose he met his end sometime after dark. I was asleep by then, so I'm rather in the dark there. Well, thank you. That was very illuminating.
Is everything alright, Mrs. Sato? Well, I was just thinking it's a little strange, that's all. Mr. Gardep, you were up here in your room all evening, if I've understood correctly?
Got a big front of stairs, and with this blasted leg.
Then, how is it that you seem to know the precise movements of your tenant on the ground floor?
Oh! That's a very good point. I can't imagine that you could hear noises from the ground floor all the way up here. Does this old man like to spy on his tenants? Is that it? I say, I know what you're thinking, and it's a boldly on reach. I'm ex-military, don't you know? I don't go around spying on my tenants, why would I?
Gampang kebaca banget isi kepalanya si Naruhodo. Then how did you know, Mr. Gardep?
It's the gas, woman. The gas tells me everything.
The gas? Speaking gas?
What on earth do you mean, sir? How can the gas tell you anything, let alone everything? Well, as you're probably aware, the gas is supplied to the building by pipes. Yes, I more or less worked that out.
Every room in the building is connected by a single pipe to the gas main outside, and the gas company supplies gas to properties via the main.
Yes, I understand that too. Let me see if I can explain. Let's say I was to light the gas lamps up here. What do you suppose would happen? Well, obviously the room will get brighter. Exactly, but at the same time, the lights in all the other rooms of the house will dim for a moment. What? They dim? Why?
Perhaps it's because when you light a gas lamp, it briefly uses more gas than usual, and that reduces the amount of gas in the pipe for the other lamps that are connected to it. That might explain why the other lamps dim momentarily. Mightn't it?
Yes, of course, because everything's connected to a single supply pipe.
Is that supposed to happen though? It sounds rather undesirable.
Surely a point. Fact is, the gas company's pipes in these parts are pretty hopeless, no doubt. And barely got any gas in them to start with. Opposites, also true, of course. Extinguish the lamps up here and they glow brighter in the rest of the house. Ah, right, I see. So by watching the flickering of the lamps in one room, you can determine what's happening elsewhere. You've got it.
Oh, of course, because when people come back home in the evening, and before they go to sleep at night, what they are going to do is either light or put out their lamps and fires.
In point of fact, the room on the ground floor and the one above it use slightly different amounts of gas. By watching lights in here closely, I can work out almost exactly what's going on in the whole house.
Gosh, that's fascinating, Mr. Garda. Absolutely fascinating.
Well, nothing to it really. Now I can't really see that it's going to help us with the case either. What I'd like to know is why Mr. Garda is so interested in what his tenants are up to in the first place. I feel like there's more to it than idle curiosity. Well, we've done as much investigating here as we can, I think. Perhaps we ought to go to the prison and speak with Mr. Natsume again.
Good idea. Excuse me, sir, you know this bar of soap? You know? Okay. How about the pair of teacups? I don't think you... Oh. He doesn't really care about it. How about this? Okay, he doesn't care about it too. Aha! No, he totally doesn't care. Yalah, dia gak peduli emang. Oke. Yay, classic AA. Show everyone everything.
Whoever opened this envelope didn't bother with a letter opener or scissors, did they?
Yes, whoever opened it is clearly someone with an unrefined temperament. And judging from the angle of the rip here, the person in question must have been right-handed.
Mrs. Sato, I think perhaps someone's been reading too much of the adventures of Harus shows.
You can never read too much of it, Mr. Naruto. Never! Yung satunya. Mana susatonya? Must have been right-handed. Okay. Time to go to the prison. Oh no, he's behind the bar once again. Tuk, Mr. Naruhodo. Masih yang sabun. Ini aja belum masuk trial. Panjang kok, satu kasus tuh biasanya bisa 4-5 jam. Mr. Naruhodo. Mr. Natsume, have the police finished questioning you now?
Locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Yes.
Hello, good afternoon.
What is he? Tell me. Is he a ghost, or is he here to haunt me? Let me guess. You're talking about Mr. Sholmes?
He actually calls himself a great detective, Mr. Natsume, not a ghost.
What? But his diabolic deductions, they're not of this world. You've left me. Cursed! I'm cursed, I tell you! Well, that sort of hurts.
Credit where credit's due, Mr. Naruto. You were heavily involved in the deduction too.
Yes, moving on. We have some wonderful news.
Oh. The victim that we all thought was dead has come back to life again.
Now, in the absolutely worst case, you could only be tried for attempted murder. That's rape, isn't it, Mr. Natsume? It's terrible! Oh, I'm stuck in this cell, suffering for some silly wrong end of the stick. did it, didn't you? Confess, you're a killer. Why the mustache? Constant questions! I'm sorry to hear that. Ah, that selfish shyster! Make up your mind! Are you dead or alive? If you weren't going to come back to life, why bother dying? Wickedly wishy-washy, William. Well, it seems likely that Mr. Shakespeare was never actually dead in the first place. Oh, yes, that might make sense, and I'm pleased that he's alive, of course. Our lively debate last night was much fun. I'd be sad to think it was all lost.
Oh, oops.
Oops. Mr. Natsume, does this mean that you did see the victim last night? You met with Mr. Shakespeare, didn't you? I'm not saying another word. I demand to have a lawyer present. Who do you think I am? Please, Mr. Natsume, we need to hear your side of the story. Oh, why am I cursed like this? So Natsume, it's nothing much, but... Oh, it's been too long since I've been offered a present with a delightfully humble etiquette of our homeland. What? You're too kind. I accept it gladly. Sorry, but I wasn't trying to give it to you, actually.
Sabun. Sabun. So Natsume, what do you know about this?
Oh, there it is! That lathery lowlife that took my neighbor's life and sent him sliding to the depths of despair. Slippery, sickly, psychotic saboteur! You've really gone off soap, haven't you? Absolutely, and I've made up my mind. Next time someone gives me soap as a present, it's headship finished firmly forever.
I don't know that we can blame soap for everything that's happened, Mr. Natsume. Okay. He doesn't bother with this. Okay. What happened?
Can you tell us exactly what happened last night then, Mr. Natsume? There's nothing to tell, but isn't that what is quiet? I'm eternally grateful to you for helping me with that accursed case yesterday. The case that saw poor Miss Green hospitalized after she ended up with a knife in her back.
It's hard to believe that was only yesterday.
After the trial was over, I trudged my weary way back to my lowly lodgings. And that evening, at past 9, it must have been, I visited Mr. Shakespeare. So you did go to the victim's room then?
As we feared.
I didn't do anything wrong. I'd never been to his room before. It was the first time. Then what made you decide to go? I bumped into him when I arrived back at the house. We got chatting and it developed into a discussion. But he had to go out, so I bade him farewell. That ties in with what Mr. Garadeb said, that the victim went out and came back after 8. We met again later that evening, and around 9 or just after, when I took him some nice tea I brewed as a gift. So, it was you who brought the tea that had clearly been drunk at the scene then.
And I suppose you were discussing the works of Shakespeare, were you?
Yes, that's right. That's exactly right. Romeo and Juliet, who was the stronger? It was a delightful debate.
Emang mereka gulat apa? Who was the stronger? Why? I'm sure...
Such a stimulating subject! Shakespeare! And the debate became very heated, so you slipped poison into Mr. Shakespeare's tea? No! Never! Not at all! Team Juliet won! That was me! And when I left his room, the flamboyant fellow was fighting fit! I swear it! Categorically! Mr. Natsume, you often say the same thing about yourself. I've noticed that you have a cursed existence. I'm sure I've mentioned this to you before, but I've been here in Great Britain for a year now, and in that time, I've learned that it's no place for me.
It can be very trying to live in a foreign land and adapt to the ways of another culture.
There are foreigners everywhere I look. They all stare at me. They all laugh. That's the impression I get whenever I go out. It makes me scared to leave my room. Which is why I've become a recluse. But even in my room, I find no respite from my fears. I've moved more times than I can remember. And then, 1 week ago, I moved into Briar Road. But why? I mean, why did you choose that place? It doesn't seem very comfortable.
Oh, gulat? Gulatnya kayak gimana?
Because the rent is cheap. I have so little money, it spoke to me.
The rent?
Obviously, there's a reason why it's cheap. Because the room is cursed. Cursed? Cursed how? The previous occupant, the man who lived there before I took the room, died there.
Oh no!
He was only a young man, but one morning he was found dead and no one could explain why. Surely no one would want to live in a room with a history like that. I didn't. When the letting agent recommended the place, I wavered. But I want books! And books cost money! A horrible history is a small price to pay! And I realized it would mean I could buy more books. I signed the lease like lightning. Rave or blinkered. But after I moved in, I soon came to realize what I'd done. I realized how horrible that room's history really was.
Gosh, was it really so awful? How did the room's horrible history affect you, Mr. Natsume? What happened?
At first, it was just a feeling. The feeling of beady eyes boring into my back, watching me. Do you think that might just have been your mind playing tricks on you? No. My mind doesn't know any tricks. It was someone else. It's been one long nightmare ever since I was given the keys to the place. Nightmare? You've been having bad dreams, you mean? All the souls who died in that room leaned over me in my sleep and tried to strangle me. That really is horrible. And now I come to think of it, it happened again last night too. The very same night that Mr. Shakespeare was writhing in agony from the poison in his body. I was on the verge of being suffocated silently by those miserable spirits in my room.
You simply must move out of that room as soon as possible.
Yes, you're right. I know it. And that's why I'm already searching for the next room with a history to call home.
Hello. Hello. Welcome. I think perhaps you should try to avoid accommodation with any kind of history at all. Otherwise, I'm scared that you yourself may become history.
Ooh, Sato-san knows how to make the man listen. Of course, this Lord of the Manor is worried about curse on my room as well. You mean Mr. Gorida? Yes, he knows that if people keep dying there, he'll never be able to rent it out again. Well, that's true. I, for one, wouldn't go near the place.
Perhaps that may explain why the landlord pays so much attention to the gas lamps and his tenants' movements.
You mean because he's worried about their well-being? He does seem to have an unusually keen interest in the amount of gas he pumps. There must be a reason why he keeps such close tabs on the occupants of his landlings. Why do you mean he pays so much attention to the gas lamps?
Oh dear, no, it's nothing to do with you, Mr. Natsume. Please, forget I said anything.
Now you're talking about me behind my back as well. What's important is that Mr. Shakespeare is in fact, not at all. Is an impact, not at all. Once he's come around and he's able to tell us what happened, we'll be able to get him released. Yes, please! Oh, I do hope you're right.
Excuse me. Oh dear.
Inspector Gregson. I couldn't help overhearing what you just said, and on that note, I have some good news and some bad news. Which do you want first? Always! Every time! The bad news comes first! When hope is all you have, hold on to it! That's my guiding principle. Right, well in that case, the good news is... Huh? Sorry, but it's just a lot easier to explain everything that way. Then why did you ask me my preference? As you might have heard, the victim, Mrs. Shakespeare, was just unconscious. It's come round now. Yes, we saw it happen in all its terrifying glory. He's still been treated by the doctors, but we've managed to get a written statement from him already.
Oh, isn't that wonderful, Mr. Natsume?
Oh, thank goodness it's all over then. I can leave the somber cell. Sorry, no, that's not on the cards. What?
Wait, ever not, Inspector?
Mrs. Shakespeare has implicated someone has been responsible for what happened last night.
Implicated someone? Oh dear.
You don't mean... I'm sorry to say I do, yes. He's pointed the finger at you, Mr. Natsume. Ah! By sweet poison did he seek to end my life. That wicked, caitiff, Soseki Natsume! No! So I'm afraid you'll be appearing in court as planned. We wanted to make the necessary preparations. No!
Kasian banget sih. And so once again, Soseki-san found himself having to take the dog and the old baby. Whether his room was haunted or whether he was just terribly unlucky, I knew I had no choice. The following day, I would represent him in court and do my utmost to break the curse that blighted him. F for Soseki. Bailey, the place always makes me feel strange. I seem to get chills down my spine and break out in a nervous sweat all at the same time. Oh, I didn't think I'd be back here so soon.
That's my line! Good morning!
Ah, good morning, Miss Natsume.
It was only 2 days ago that I was declared not guilty here. Yes, we somehow managed to prove he didn't stab Miss Green in the back. But now this! Another morning, another murder, and here I am again in this hellhole. Can't keep coming to court. I'm beginning to think he's right. It really does seem as though he's cursed.
So Naruhodo, I'm afraid I have bad news. Oh, Miss Natsume, good morning.
Yes, morning.
Here we are again.
Yes. Again. Judicial Assistant! Miss Mikoto Esquires! What's the bad news?
Oh dear, you heard, did you?
If you come in shouting at the top of your voice, people can't help hearing what you say.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You've done nothing wrong, Mrs. Sato. Now, what is it?
Well, it seems that the prosecution in today's trial will be led by Lord Barak Fanzix. And Fanzix?
Oh no! Oh no!
So-called Reaper of the Bailey, the most legendary prosecutor in the land. In the trial 2 days ago, we pursued Saseki-san and I relentlessly. Of course, by the skin of our teeth, we managed to pull through, but still... Perhaps Mr. Natsume's acquittal in the last trial wasn't the end of the matter after all. Yes, I know what you're thinking. The legend of the Reaper that says, nothing can save a person in the dark when Lord Van Zix is the prosecutor.
Oh no!
That, even if that person is found not guilty, the accused will meet a mysterious end one way or another. And we've experienced it firsthand. A man we successfully defended met the most terrifying end after his acquittal, right here in the Old Bailey.
Ah! Do I have to put up with those high school lies boring into my soul again? Cursed by evil spirits and now by the Reaper! Here, a petrifying perils, potentially!
Well, if it's potentially, at least you appear to have hope, Mr. Natsume.
Look up, student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire! Ah, yes, I'm innocent! You have to believe me! You, more than anyone know, now! Don't worry. I'll be your steadfast ally every step of the way in this battle. I promise.
And this promises to be a hard battle, I fear. Well, the trial is scheduled to begin shortly. We should move into the courtroom. Let's go! Oh yes, I forgot to say. I'm afraid he won't be able to make it, Mr. Schultz, I mean. That's probably for the best. If he were here, I might be tempted to rely on his help. And that could be seen as a weakness. If Lord Van Zix were to notice, he'd prey on it mercilessly. Lul, for the best thing. At least that's my gut feeling. Aku kirain tadi dia mau bilang for the best itu supaya Sherlock yang gak gangguin dia. Tapi ternyata aku dikira weakness gitu ya.
You're right. Yes. You're so right. Oh, well said, Locum Student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Swear on the sword at my side and on the spirit of humanity that harbors. Show me what the Japanese lawyer can do and set you free with honor.
Oh yes! Super. Pengen mijit. Aduh, lumayan nih kalau ada yang bisa mijitin. In the name of Her Majesty, I hereby declare the court to be in session. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is ready. The defense is ready, my lord.
As for the trial, my lord Nipponese friend is not what the defense needs. What you need is a readiness for your inevitable defeat.
Aku nggak bisa suarain si Van Zix. It's not just in my imagination, it's really there. Bilang pijat 24 jam. Nggak mau ada pijitin sama cowok, mau dipijitin sama cewek aja. Mit pegang-pegang. Lord Van Zix has such an animosity towards us Japanese for some reason. Si Van Zix nih emang. It was some time ago when he first became known as the Victor of the Baby. This past few years, he hasn't appeared in court at all. Now he's back in the courtroom, though for some reason only when I'm defending. Aneh ya, cuman pas Rinosuke defend doang. Mr. Reaper, with his curious disdain for us Japanese, is a prosecutor shrouded in mystery. Still, this isn't the time to be pondering that. I have to concentrate on Soseki-san's trial. Okay. Jurynya have been chosen at random to represent the will of the people in this trial. Are you ready to fulfill your duty?
Absolutely! I had the feeling this larrikin wasn't in this before.
I must say that I feel especially ruthless on days when my hat refuses to sit right. You like it?
Oh well, I rather like how you're wearing your hat. I think the ruthless look is very fetching, actually. I need to be somewhere at 10 o'clock. I have a very important meeting. Let's make this quick.
I couldn't agree more. I need to take home 5 pop tonight or the business will go through the roof.
Ya kalau gitu ngapain kamu ikutan jadi juri, Babangs?
Oh, may the Lord Charles must light him and lead his flock to a righteous work.
Jurornya cuma satu. Jalan masih ramai. Ya ada juri. It's quite extraordinary to think that the power of judgment is in the hands of 6 members of the public, and that the judge can only pass sentence when all jurors are in agreement about the defendant's guilt. Six citizens of London chosen at random. Or at least that's the idea. Okay. 2 days ago, yeah. Accordingly, where possible, the same jurors have been asked to return for duty today. Oh, gitu. Very well, let us commence the trial. Oh, kalau maid atau istrinya Mr. Karidep itu digantiin karena kebetulan dialah pelakunya. Gak tahu bisa nolak ya? Ini barusan dijelasin sama Van Zix sih. Kalau misalnya cuma kayak 2 hari gitu masih bisa. Jadi dipakai jurornya sama. Let us commence the trial. Van Zix, your opening statement, please. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, it is not the intent of the prosecution to cause doubt for your past decision. However, the innocent verdict accorded to this eccentric who's done this before has had dire consequences. Dianya ini aja, apes aja. Did the accused repent for his wrongdoing in that affair? Far from it. Tapi kan dia emang nggak salah apa-apa, apes aja kebetulan. Instead, he used his freedom to perpetrate the most blood-curdling crime. Namely, that of the attempted murder of his neighboring lodger, an innocent Englishman. To explain the circumstances of the crime, the prosecution calls its first witnesses to the stand. The detective responsible for investigating the scene and the accused himself. Tetap makan fish and chip. Witnesses, your names and occupations, please. Yes, sir. Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector at Scotland Yard's Homicide Division. Saseki Natsume from the Empire of Japan. My government ordered me to come here as a student to study the language and culture. Sir Natsume? Yes, my lord, sir. I'm quite sure I'm not mistaken that you swore an oath never to set foot in my courtroom again. Oh, if you're over 18 years old, you can be called for a jury service. Some people aren't eligible for jury service or can get excused because of their job. Oh guys, by the way, I think I'm going to end the stream at around 4 PM because I have to go somewhere this evening. So maybe right before the testimony, I will end the stream right before the testimony being read. The day before, in fact, my lord, but close enough. Ya, Lailanya mesti pergi ke tempat lain soalnya. But believe me, this is the last place I wanna be. Inspector, let's hear from you first. Explain the case for the court. Right you are, sir. Ya, ya makanya sekitar jam 4-an Laila tutup. Oh, bentar lagi jam 4 ya. The incident occurred at the Garidep household where the defendant has lodgings. Pachup! In the ground floor room of the victim, Mr. William Shakespeare. Defendant has already admitted to visiting the victim on the night in question. Mr. Shakespeare collapsed in his room as a result of poisoning by strychnine. He was found the following morning when the landlord suspected something was wrong.
We were found the following morning when the landlord suspecting something was wrong, broke down the floor.
It was a Shakespeare. Aku benar-benar nggak bisa British accent. I'm sorry. This means I presume that the door to the victim's room was locked at the time of the incident. Correct, my lord. It was locked from the inside, making entry to or exit from the room impossible. Although the victim, Mr. Shakespeare, lives to tell tale, he very nearly didn't. The man was halfway to heaven when we first found him. I was the first officer on the scene, my lord. I have a photographic print here that I took at the time to show how it looked. Oh, dapat photographic print lagi. Tapi aku bingung ya. Emang di zaman ini foto itu sudah berwarna kah? Kayaknya pas zaman Perang Dunia Kedua aja foto aja belum berwarna. Yes, a chilling scene indeed. The man looks very much deceased. Soalnya ya kayak di case 5 tuh, kalau di case 5 tuh banyak fotograf juga. Itu semuanya berwarna, guys. Tapi entah kenapa kalau misalnya kita lagi korte di Japannya foto hitam putih, tapi begitu kita nyampe di British Courts ini jadi berwarna, jadi aku bingung. Kalau itu Karatemonshons, iya kalau oke lah kalau itu kan Karatemonshons ya. Tapi kalau yang ini kan bukan Karatemonshons. Yang crime scene photography ini kan bukan Temonshons. Now then, Mr. Natsume. Yes, yes, yes! As a defendant, do you have anything to say at this juncture? You're haunted. Haunted by evil spirits! Good gracious! What's haunted?
My lodgings! There's been a whole series of strange happenings in my lodgings! The tenants before me died in mysterious circumstances. A woman was stabbed by no one on the street outside. My neighbor was poisoned. And me? What about me? I've been killed countless times. Killed, Mr. Natsume? How? Even on that fateful night it happened. When I returned from Mr. Shakespeare's room, I lit my gas stove and climbed into bed, but before long, the stove went out, and somebody tried to kill me!
You must always extinguish all fires before retiring for the night, Mr. Natsume.
But it's so cold. My runny nose will freeze. But the point is, I didn't poison my neighbor. Why am I being accused of this? Why is my existence so cursed? Thank you, witnesses. I believe I have a reasonably clear picture of events. I could raise one more point, my lord, once more. One more conclusive point. Conclusive? Go on. Fortunately, the victim, Mr. Shakespeare, has regained consciousness after his ordeal. And he has named the true culprit. The poison consumed by the victim was administered in a cup of tea that he drank on the night in question. Tea, my lord. It was brought to the victim's room by the accused.
Ah, it's true though. He brought the tea as a gift for Shakespeare.
Order! Order! Yes, that's the crux of this whole case.
Here is the scheme set. I think it's between Great War and World War II. Yes. Between the First World War and the Second World War. The first processes for color photography appeared in 1990s, based on the theory demonstrated in the 1860s by Maxwell. Okay. But when did color photography commonly used? At the very least in court. Okay, if Suzuki-san is innocent, then why? Why has the victim accused him? But public outside always freezes at night, so I bumped bottled water especially to it. And this is the result. Never will I touch tea again. Never. The public pump was frozen. You see? It's not information we've heard before. That will do. Thank you. Now, according to our laws, the defense must have the opportunity to cross-examine witnesses at least once. Therefore, I call upon these witnesses now for a formal testimony. I presume the prosecution has no objection? None whatsoever, my lord. Good. Then you will give your account of events on the night in question to the court now.
Yes, my lord.
Oh, this was during the Meiji era, around late 1860s to 1910s. Okay. The catastrophic night. Oh, okay. So there you go. There it is. There you have it. We just started with the first testimony, and I will end the game here. We'll end the stream here. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you so much for joining our stream. Good game, yes. Thank you. Alstroemeria, thank you so much for watching. Wait a second, let me check if I missed any. I don't think I missed any donations, right? Because there's no super chat while I was sleeping, right? Okay, only one super chat. Okay, that's it. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and see you in January. Yeah. Alstroemeria. And oh, there might be a chance that the government already used it. I see. Because the game specifically showed black and white photography in Japan when we are still in the Japanese courtroom, and then we are served with colorized photography when we are in the British courtroom. So it is very interesting how the game pointed out. Okay, I have to be somewhere, and see you in January. I don't have any New Year stream because I have something to do. I need to go somewhere during the New Year, so yeah. See you on early January. Bye bye, guys. See you next year. Hehe. Okay, Layla Alstroemeria. Bubar. Jalan. Bye bye. Thank you. Bye bye. Selamat tahun baru sebentar lagi. Nggak berasa ya, bentar lagi udah mau tahun baru lagi. Makasih banyak yang sudah mendukung Layla sampai saat ini. Kita udah mau 2 kali tahun baruan lah ya. Thank you for supporting me all this time. We are going to we are going to experience the second New Year after I become the liver for NIJISANJI ID. Yay! Yes, guys, have a good New Year Eve to you too. Enjoy the New Year, guys. Enjoy the moment. See you next year. Have a happy New Year. I hope I hope next year will bring a lot more happiness and opportunity to all of us, and also 2021. 2 days left, guys. 2 days left. Well, I know the past 2 years haven't been easy to most of us, but I'm really proud of you for hanging in there and, you know, doing your best in this year. Okay, see you in January. Bye bye. I lost Alstroemeria, bubar jalan. Otsu 2021.